What is the difference between Shiva and Buddha is not an appropriate question, because what he's done, no other being has done on this planet, no other. I have enjoyed being his partner. Yes, he went through all the throes of romance and the death and the grief and the works. Welcome to Mahashivaratri, the great night of Shiva. On this sacred night, if you maintain wakefulness and some sense of awareness, it shall bring tremendous well-being to your life. This is not about becoming superhuman. This is about realizing that being human is super. What is the difference between Shiva and Buddha is not an appropriate question. Which aspect of Shiva did Buddha explore? He explored the path of awareness, which is one aspect. It's very unidimensional, but the significance of Gautam Buddha is, he's very scientific, clinical. He appeals to the logical mind. But he's like… He also said like this. Many times he was an ascetic, he just sat, unmoving. But many times he was mad, dancing, drunk. He was in all kinds of states, because he didn't limit himself to any particular dimension. He just explored every aspect of life. But unfortunately, I am always strongly feeling about this. This is one being who has not been sufficiently acknowledged for the work that he has done. Not as a god, for the work that he has done, for the knowledge that he spread, for the capability and empowerment that he did to humanity, the work that he did on human consciousness, for that he's not been sufficiently acknowledged. That's one of my wishes, that in the next 100 years, this one being must find more acknowledgement, because what he has done, no other being has done on this planet, no other. I have enjoyed being his partner, and I know the depth and the dimension of his work, and he has not found even a fragment of acknowledgement that he deserves. Just saying somebody is a god is not good. As a being, what work he has done, he needs to be acknowledged for that. Generally, it's believed this is somewhere 40 to 60,000 years ago that he started his work. But after 60,000 years or 40,000 years, it is still alive, you can't kill it. You still can't kill it, isn't it? By the time I'm done with my life, I'm sure I will leave him little more popular than the way he is today. Parvati desperately wanted to marry Shiva. So she hired help, the god of Kama, Kamadeva. He's the original Cupid. Usually Cupid renders you quite stupid. So he hid behind a tree and shot a flower arrow at Shiva. The flower arrow hit him, and he opened his eyes from his meditative state, and this beautiful Parvati was sitting there,
and suddenly something stirred up within him and he felt desire for her. Then he got angry, who did this to me? And he looked, Kama was looking from behind the tree at his success. Then he said, you idiot, you disturbed my sadhana and put this desire in me. And he opened his third eye and he burnt him into ashes. You need to understand, any kind of desire, lustfulness, arises not from outside but from inside. So Shiva burnt Kama into ashes. Means, not that he looked at somebody who was behind a tree and burnt him. When he saw desire rising within him, he opened his third eye. Third eye is an inward eye, not an outward eye. These two eyes are enough to see the world. These two eyes can grasp everything that is physical. Now you want to see something which is not physical in nature, the only way to look is inward. So if you have an eye which can look inward, that is the third eye, not an extra appendage or an opening in your forehead. Third eye is referring to an inner dimension. Two eyes to see the physical. To see the non-physical, there's another eye, which is an inward eye. Why are they talking about the forehead? Because that is where it is located. Agna chakra, this is the chakra between the eyebrows, which is an inward vision, because it's all about turning inward.
You need to understand, Shiva jumped from gross to subtle just like that. The subtlest aspects of yoga and the crudest aspects of yoga, everything was handled at once because he makes no distinction between this and that. The word Shiva means just that he made no distinction between good and bad. Anything that's rejected anywhere in the world is his. All those beings, all those qualities, all those substances which have been rejected by all the people in the world, all the gods, he took it upon himself. So, what Shiva means is absolute acceptance, not an iota of resistance. Everything is his. It is in this state the yoga was propounded. It is in this understanding the yoga was propounded. The word yoga means just the same. The word yoga means everything has become one. Yoga means all-inclusiveness. With a sense of exclusiveness in you, you attempt yoga, you will get into just entertainment.
Shiva's love for Sati was like I was just now telling, when we were in the Kailash trip, people became weepy about what they missed. They didn't miss anything, but they felt they missed. So, it's one of those moments when you yield. So Shiva's love for Sati is just like that. It's one of those moments where he gave in to the ways of emotion and to the ways of life. That was not an eventual happening in his life, that was just a small happening in his life. It is his silence which is of utmost significance to us. It is his silence which is of greatest value to us, not his romance, not his marriage, not his wife's death, not these things. But how to talk about his silence? There is no way to talk about his silence. now that you brought up the question yes, he went through all the throes of romance and the death and the grief and the works. But the moment he set it down, he simply sat there still unmoved, as if nothing had ever happened to him. Nothing had happened to him at all, and in fact nothing had happened to him, and nothing happens to anybody for that matter. It is just that because our psychological and emotional structures are such that it is designed for us to enjoy the juice of life. But unfortunately, most people don't drink the juice of life, they drown in the juice of life. So Shiva also allowed himself that luxury for some moment. When he thought it's enough, he came out of it and sat there completely conscious and in a different state. So don't ever think that was the eventual happening, that was just a small happening in his life, and that was fine. That made him kind of more human-friendly because people could relate to him because he also grieved. That gives some joy to all the people who are in different levels of misery, that Shiva also suffered for a certain period of time. But you need to understand, it's just one of those moments when he is given into the process of life. But the moment he wants to stop it, he stops it immediately and sits there untouched by any of these things. Beyond darkness, what is? This vast space of darkness. Darkness is not a substance. Darkness is not a thing. Absence of light is darkness. Absence of perception is darkness. Absence of knowing is darkness. His basis is sound, reverberation. He is just born out of a reverberation. He has no parentage, no antecedents, no lineage. Welcome to Mahashivratri, the great night of Shiva. On this sacred night, if you maintain wakefulness and some sense of awareness, it shall bring tremendous well-being to your life.
This Mahashivratri, receive Rudraksh Diksha, a specially energized Rudraksh bead, and is also delivered free to your home.
Today is the most magnificent night of my life.
This is not just a night of wakefulness, this must become a night of awakening for every one of you.
Join the celebrations live on March 11th on Sadhguru's YouTube and Facebook channels.